I can assure you and your government APC, come 2027, APC will lose Abuja again. You na go lose. Nothing say you na they work, but because this Wike is so arrogant, is so rude, and everything he's doing is rubbing off on APC, rubbing off on President Tinubu, you na go lose. 2027, hey, well, you na know how you na the right you na results. But as long as if you na leave us, make we vote our conscience, APC will not get 30%. We can advise you now, making a pack all you na banner come out for airport road.
This man is heavily corrupt.
Who?
Mr. Wike.
Okay.
When he was sharing this same land to his cronies and family members, that one he didn't remember. When this land
But they're sharing which land?
Abuja land.
Okay.
Is it not on record?
Virgin lands or lands recovered from other people?
Both of them.
Okay.
Both of them. This is on record. Has he been able to defend himself on that? No.
Have those people gone to court?
Nobody can take him to court as APC minister. Yes, they are afraid of doing that. If you go to court, on what ground are you going to court?
So on what ground will Wike have gone to court against Sambo?
Oh, because he's the FCT minister.
So why can't others go to court against him?
Because they are afraid of him. They don't know their rights. Even if you go to court, will he obey your court order? Okachuku land that he has a court document and all that. What happened?
The federal government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu has a wicked problem. And what is this wicked problem? An energetic, competent, goal-driven, with evidence of performance on one side, but a mismanaged, excessively irritating and garrulous aide who has no capacity to understand that you are a minister, you are representing a president. The amount of invectives you put out at people increases their ability for them to, first of all, dislike you, and then by inference begin to dislike your principal, who then makes everybody believe that you have been given the liberties to disrespect everybody in the country. You had a problem in Rivers, you were backed. People didn't like that. You seem to have issues with almost all our revered leaders in the country, whom you have no ears talking to them anyhow, speaking to them anyhow, disrespecting them. People tolerated it. You are constantly in the media, screaming, shouting, bellowing, jumping, saying it anyhow you like. People are slowly but gradually unhappy. And suddenly, you have to do a ministerial responsibility that could have been done via administrative correctness. But in your, I'm bigger than everybody, I'm very strong, and this and that, you put yourself in a situation where a junior ranking officer is now forced to hold the line before you and made yourself and the entire government you represent to become the caricature of joke. Let me advise so that they know. I once asked Chief Obasanjo one day when he had finished that, sir, how do you people control, how do you get the army and the armed forces to...
I'm requesting you to remove Nyesom Wike as Minister of FCT, even if you want to retain him as a minister, appoint him into another ministry and bring somebody else, because he's stepping on so many toes and he's doing that arrogantly and wrongly.
Wike's action of trading words with a uniformed officer demeans the dignity of the office of a minister and undermines the image of disciplined governance, forgetting that the loyalty of an officer is to the state and not to personalities.
President Bola Ahmed.
So yesterday being November 13, 2024, Wike was instructed to apologize to the military. He was instructed to redeem the president. He was instructed to redeem himself. He was also instructed to redeem every politician, because this issue has gone beyond. That's what Wike doesn't understand. That the army most likely does not even see him anymore. What they are seeing is the attitude of a Nigerian politician and how others are bound to misbehave going forward. You know, what happened is like a husband who was embarrassed in front of his wife. Respect matters a lot in marriage. That's how military behaves or sees civilians. Now, Wike went there, and instead of him to apologize and put this thing to an end, he created more problem. He went there and began to say that his men were beaten a day before that day. Now, if you knew something like that happened, why didn't you go through the right channel? So you now sat in your office and you said, okay now, I'll go there tomorrow. Let me see who will stop me. And that was why obviously he decided to go there by himself. Now, is that how things are done? Now, if you check this issue very well, Wike actually had a very good case. But his attitude, his behavior ruined everything. He does not even trust his office. He does not even trust the process. Because they have long ago destroyed that same process. And then you went there and began to explain things and created more problem. Now, see how Wike sees this issue. Wike believes that it is a feud between him and the retired general, calling him private citizens, using soldiers or whatever to protect private property. Do you understand what he's saying now? Wike went there to say that it is not a fight between him and between the government of Nigeria, understand that word, and the military. That it is a problem between him, it's me and you. In fact, he even went on to say that he has high level support. And that's a misconception. Let me explain to you what I understand and I love so much about Muslims. A Muslim, an average Muslim would do anything. You can insult him, you can do whatever you want to do. But when it comes to their religion, they will unite as one. That is how army, air force, navy, the military, that's how they behave. Wike still sees this thing as a fight between I and one retired person. It is not like that. We can see, forget that maybe at one point or the other you call one of the generals sometime and he said, hey, your boy misbehaved you, and the guy was punished. Do you know why that happened? Or why it happened that way? Because it was in private. It was not in the public. The military would never compromise in the face of civilians. They would never do that. So he went on to say things. In fact, he even said that because he had been warned that this thing can actually cost you a job. And he said it, that I know very well that this issue can even cost me my job. But whatever it is, I am willing to face it in his normal disposition of I do not back down. Obviously, Wike sees this whole thing like a feud between him and PDP. You know this thing you have been doing with PDP. Please, somebody should advise Wike that this is not PDP. This issue is not PDP at all. You are dealing with the military. You are dealing with the Navy. You are dealing with the Air Force. You are dealing with the Army. You cannot survive this issue. These guys have nothing against you. Let me put this to rest. These guys have no issue with you. They only have issue with how the public sees them. All he needed to do would have been to apologize. Set himself free. Set the president free. Set his cohorts, the politicians, free. Now, let me advise the politicians who called him earlier, who asked him to apologize, but he refused. You guys should make a press release. Come out as a people and tell the military that we are still very much in respect of your class, of your office. If Wike is not willing to come out and apologize, you guys should come out and redeem yourself. Because this issue is not going to end. See, Wike may not be the one that will receive the repercussion of his action. The military does not forgive. They don't forget. It may not be Wike that will suffer for this thing. It may be someone innocent, somebody that's coming from somewhere that will suffer this thing. The army, the air force, the military, they're not seeing Wike in this whole matter. They are seeing every politician. All of you are implicated. So find a way. You can make a release. If Wike does not come back to apologize properly, you guys should apologize. Set yourself free. You understand what I'm saying more than me. You understand exactly what I'm saying more than me. Redeem yourself. If that land was taken illegally, this does not stop you from going through the right process to redeem it. It doesn't stop you. You can still get that land back. But let the armed forces know that, hey, you have respect for them. That is the way forward. For now, this is what Beaver knows. What do you know?
Listen to the Minister of Federal Capital Territory. He said he respected the institution. he said he respected the military. I love that. But sir, you didn't even take a second to even withdraw that derogatory statement. If you actually respected the military, there's nothing big, no big deal in apologizing if somebody has done something wrong. You will simply apologize. It won't take you anything from you. In fact, apology improves one's integrity. Yes, take it from me. Look, this thing we are talking about has nothing to do with the rest of the matter. That is talking about the land issue in Abuja. I am a lawyer and I know that the law empowers you, at least Land Use Act 1978, Section 1, gives you the custody of every land in Abuja to hold it in trust for the people of Abuja. That is not in this wood. But the way you have just handled the matter was what many Nigerians are against. But no problem. But me, for personally, I expected that you would even just say sorry. Let's move on. I just want to say again that I don't speak for the military. I'm not a military person. I am a police. My police is my constituency. So whatever I express my personal opinion about the issue of policing, and that is why I want to talk to my people again, the police. Can you see now what has happened within the next 24 hours? Can you see how many people have put up a defense in support of that young officer? You saw the first salvo was fired by the Minister for Defense, who said he supported that guy because that guy was doing a good job. Can you see that, Mr. Policeman? First, you don't even have a minister that can speak for you. If the government actually values you, will you be left alone without having a minister? Everything that happens, now everything that they say on behalf of the police is either done by the IG, no minister. And when they talk of issue of working, and some people will be doing gara-gara. You saw the minister, he came out boldly to defend that guy. You saw some retired military officers, very senior military officer, coming out boldly to defend that guy. Nobody from his constituency condemn him. I think that should sink into your head, that if anything happens, nobody will defend you. That was why I was a bit annoyed when I saw some policemen try to engage in fisticuffs with their military counterparts. You want to knock your head off against your fellow military person. You don't need to do that. If anything happens, they will leave you with your problem. We are not saying you should not do your work. I've said it. That is your principle you have to defend. But we get to a level that we begin to say, not that when they are still talking, no fight, nothing. They are just shouting. It's just a shouting match. Some people are already dragging. They want to fight each other. Some people even went to the extent of trying to cock. You don't do that. This job is very, very flexible. These people, even these politicians that you are working with, how many of them even working for your interest? Yes. Okay, look at the months now that the House of Reps have passed this contributory pension scheme exit. They have passed it into the bill into act. What is delaying the Senate now? Up to now, they are doing what they like there in their house, in their plenary. They just go there to do and do some analysis. Okay, what is delaying them now? What is delaying them now? But that up to now, they have not even done anything about the plight of the police. Police that does not, you don't have a minister. Even the one that has to do with your welfare now, we are saying they should do it. They are wasting time. For those of you working with big men, and you think you are less concerned, continue. Are you going to remain there forever? You are not going to remain there forever. Maybe those big men are still giving you crumbs in addition to your salary, or they are even giving you times 2 or 3 of your salary. You think you remain there forever? You cannot lobby them. Even in the National Assembly, you lobby to get things done. That is it. You can speak. I've told you this thing. You can speak to your principal. You can speak to them. These politicians, they can talk to one another. You have not one day called your Oga to say, Oga, please, this issue of contributory pension scheme, please help us do something about it too. And you are protecting senators, Senate President, Deputy Senate President, speakers. Also, I will thank God, speakers, the House of they have done their own. You are working with ministers. You have not one day sat them down to say, Oga, what are we doing? It is when the issue of work comes, you want to show yourself, you want to jump like a frog. Okay, by the time you jump and anything bad happen, you will now know that you will be on your own. It will not be what we call in the police that whatever happens, the next day after the salaries are finished, they will say money finished, I clear. That is what will happen to you. I am warning you. Don't engage any fisticuffs, not even with the military. As an officer, we visit each other's mess. Yes, both military and police officers. We visit each other's mess. We enjoy. We shout. We crack jokes with one another.
While pretending to be exercising delegated authority. This morning, I've also said he comes across as APC's political bouncer in the People's Democratic Party. Hence, he's trying to impose himself on that party to serve the purpose of a fifth columnist within the People's Democratic Party. So that ties the two subjects together. However, he was on television characteristically yesterday, paid adverts for himself, in which he was saying that he respects the rule of law. Now, I don't think that is true. If the minister respects the rule of law, he cannot be selective in terms of the rule of law that he respects. When he was governor in Rivers State, did he respect the rule of law? In his attempt to say, as he insisted yesterday, that he wants to preserve the integrity of the Abuja master plan, going to pull down people's buildings, going to attack estates, is that respect for the rule of law for a man that is an officer in the temple of justice as a legal practitioner? Now, this same man says he's respecting the rule of law. Why is it that a person who says he respects the rule of law will be selective in his respect for the rule of law? There are many court judgments regarding to this Abuja master plan. The minister of the Federal Capital Territory chooses the kind of law that he wants to respect, the one that he doesn't want to respect. That in itself is an abominable, unacceptable behavior. That's number one. So he's saying he respects the rule of law. That's a lie. Number two, he said that he has no problem with the military and that he respects the military because he knows what the military is doing, and that if he has any problem with the military, he knows where to go, but he doesn't believe in confrontation. Nyesom Wike saying that he does not believe in confrontation. He even confronts journalists.
Yes. Not
realizing that you don't fight a man or people who have platforms. You will lose in the long run. So disrespecting the media, the military establishment, confronting the military establishment, that's precisely what he did. And by so doing, I insist, I repeat, that he exposed the president, commander-in-chief of the armed forces, to utter embarrassment. And that is something that I think that the president of Nigeria should still address, one way or the other. And it is as follows. He says, okay, he respects the military, he doesn't disrespect any institution. This is after it was reported yesterday on the front page of a Punch newspaper that the generals are fuming. There is no general that is supporting Nyesom Wike. They are all supporting Officer Yerima. They say he's disciplined. They said he was polite. They said he showed professionalism. The CDS is behind him. Minister Matawale has spoken also in his defense and in defense of the military. The Minister of Defense, Minister Badaru, has also spoken in defense of the military. The Inspector General of Police has told his men that, look, nobody should go and use you to put down other person's buildings in Abuja without a court order. In other words, the Inspector General of Police is also saying that what Minister Wike did was unlawful, was a resort to self-help, and law enforcement officers wearing the police uniform should not do that. So Minister Wike says he respects the rule of law. So he's the only one who is redefining, recharacterizing, positioning his conduct. I think that the time has come for the president of Nigeria to call him to order.
Yes.
To say that there is something about decorum in terms of the behavior of public officers. He could have used a court order.
Yes.
If there are court orders, he could have respected those court orders, and whether the land was in the possession of a former chief of air staff or naval staff or whatever. Nobody is above the laws of the land, and no minister has the powers to intimidate everybody. He says he doesn't like intimidation, that nobody can intimidate a government. All of us exist under the rule of law. And by conduct, ministers who have been given the opportunity to serve by President Tinubu must also conduct themselves in a decorous manner. No minister has the powers to come and dictate to everybody. You dictate to the media, you dictate to the military.
Welcome back to Gistline. So a lot of people have come out to blast Wike for the press conference and what he said recently. Now, for a man that has been in the political space for years, a lot of people expected him to show more calmness and maturity. Instead, what many Nigerians saw looks like another example of Wike's quick temper and his habit of confronting people whenever he feels challenged. And to be fair, no person, be it a minister or politician, deserves to be disrespected while on official duty. Let's be honest about that. But at the same time, uniforms or no uniforms, Nigerians are just tired of seeing public officials behave like they own the country. And that's why the video triggered reactions from both civilians and soldiers who felt Wike went too far. A lot of people believe the naval officer handled himself better and showed more self-control than Wike did. Now let's talk about the bigger picture. We all know Wike's role between PDP and APC, the role he has been playing, and this is where things get messy. From the videos I've played before, you can hear what these people have to say about Wike. They feel he has been dancing between both parties, like someone that is testing which seat is more comfortable. He was technically a PDP man, but almost all his actions and his alliance team were APC. And a lot of Nigerians are not blind to this. They see the games that is being played. A lot of people feel like Wike is only using the PDP name as a political cover and is collecting power and opportunities from APC government. Others say that he's simply fighting for relevance and just trying to position himself as someone who can't be ignored by any party. But I feel whichever way you want to look at it, this constant double-sided political behavior is actually creating confusion. And with the clash he had with this naval officer recently, it has added a lot of fire to it, because recently they said that PDP has removed him and filed share with some people. They've been dismissed from the party. And many Nigerians said it shows how Wike behaves when he feels protected by the ruling party. Some people are even accusing him of using federal power to intimidate people, especially because he knows he has a solid backing at the top. At the same time, what we all need to know is that this whole drama has exposed how unstable and messy Nigerian politics has become. When a politician can operate in two parties at once and still hold a federal position, it tells you everything about how power works in the country. And until leaders start respecting institutions, including the military, these clashes will continue. We all know that the military, they have their own, but at the same time, a lot of people are just tired of Wike. I don't know. Well, let me know what you think in the comment section. And if this is your first time joining my channel, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
So Wike made two very critical statements yesterday in that press conference he released, and a lot of people did not catch it. So first of all is that Wike opened his mouth, that is Ogogoro mouth, and said he did not call that soldier a fool. You will hear him the way he said it. That's not all. Wike also said that Buratai wants other people to come and buy him. This is a very grave allegation. He also said Buratai once took a polling unit for an election in Rivers State just to rig him out.